Okay. Okay. Welcome, everyone, to our little team meeting here. This evening, we're going to have Joanna presenting her case, and I'm going to do facilitating. And Joanna, do you want to give us a little background about what you're coming up with this evening? What your problem is?
Sure. So I'm working with a 3-year-old adopted child. She's from a two-mom family with multiple adopted children of all different races. Early on in my relationship with the child, I called mom and asked her about the child's knowledge of her own adoption. Mom informed me that she has not told her or indicated in any way that she is adopted and that the child believes the whole family is related and everybody looks the same. My supervisor wants me to inform the parents that it's in the best interest of the child to talk about her adoption as early as possible. And I'm nervous about this conversation. I know my supervisor also has an adopted child, so this directly impacts the systems as well. I'm not really sure what I want my desired outcome to be, but I'm just nervous about this situation, so I wanted to present it.
Wonderful. Thank you. That sounds very unique, and thank you for sharing that part of it. We'll just get started. If we can go and Jackie and Janelle, then Ryan, if you just guys want to go around like that way through the questions. If Jackie, you want to go ahead and start us off.
Okay, sure. Joanna, what are your best hopes for this consultation?
Um, I think that I want to find some clarity and confidence in how to move forward with this situation.
hmm Okay, that makes sense. Suppose that your best hopes are realized. What will be different for you?
I'll have a direction and like maybe a plan on what I should do next as I'll be going until the end of June with her. So if I have
Mhm.
like some kind of idea of what to do and within what time frame, that would be helpful.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And Joanna, how will others know that this has happened?
Well, I feel like this is an issue that's coming up with my supervisor, and she's, encouraging me to do this. So I'm gonna have to like update her on if I've
hmm
talked to the moms and so she'll know.
hmm
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mhm.
Am I next?
Yep, I forgot I was muted. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
All
Yeah.
right. What are your best hopes for the client and the family?
So I think from the amount that I know about this, that the best case scenario would have been if it was just a part of the conversation since she entered the family. So I think that if the best case scenario would be I call the mom, I have this conversation. She's like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna do that." And then she does it. And then, they like keep talking about it with all of their children. I think that would be the best case scenario.
So, Joanna, suppose that that conversation does actually happen, right? You call the mom, everything's great, everyone talks about it. What would be different for you if that happened?
Mm, I feel like it would be I don't know. A couple of things would be different. Like I've been worrying about this for a long time, and it would be a situation where I, like got over the hump of doing something that I felt like was going to go really poorly and it went well. And like it would be another learning experience that you should have just tackled this a long time ago, maybe. It wasn't that big of a deal. And it would just raise my confidence level that I can have like this kind of difficult conversation and like that I know how to, I don't know, that I'm growing skills to like be able to be somewhat confrontational for lack of a better word and which is a challenge for me. So I think it would mostly, obviously, besides like directly impacting the child's well-being, it would be an important step for me professionally to have more difficult conversations.
Sure. And so it sounds like you would recognize some professional and personal growth.
Yeah,
What do you think the client, you said she was 3, right?
yeah.
Um, I don't know how the mind of a 3-year-old works, but what do you think she might notice if your best hopes are realized?
I guess I'm looking at it from more of like how much her trust would be broken in the future when this discovery was made, because there's no way that that won't happen, or it's incredibly unlikely at some point. And so to kind of like remediate a larger issue that would happen in the future, um, I don't know. I think already at this age she would be probably pretty shocked. But so it wouldn't be easy for her right now. It's not something that will happen and like there will immediately be relief. I think it might be like a big painful process, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I don't know. She's 3, so maybe it will just fall into her understanding of her family like the same way as if somebody's having a sibling at that age or something, that they just kind of like slowly start to understand what it means. I don't really know. And I won't be working with her, so I won't really know what
Right.
happened after this either.
Right.
Anyway, long-winded answer.
No, that was perfect. And I'm actually going to yield the rest of my time because you answered the other questions that I was going to ask. So,
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Joanna, okay. Joanna, on a scale from 1 to 10, where 10 stands for you meeting your goal, your best hopes, so you speak to the family and they agree they should tell their 3-year-olds, where are you right now?
Uh, I don't know. It's a tough one because I'm not like a super in contact with the family. I communicate with them, fairly minimally.
Mhm.
So I'll just put it smack in the middle, like a 5.
Okay. All right. That's fair. So what tells you that you're at a 5 in this situation?
Um, I've had a few conversations with the mom on the phone and I communicate regularly, like in a notebook.
Mhm.
So it's, I'm just basing it on like a 5 would be, okay, I've had some level of communication. There's some opening for a conversation. And
Right.
I have somewhat of a talking point because in like our play therapy, a lot of times she'll um kind of, and this is just seems typical 3-year-old play, but there are themes of mommies leaving leaving the baby at home and crying,
Hmm.
like the baby, there's lots
Oh,
of
yeah, of
things that would
course.
like make an opening for the conversation,
Right.
maybe. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that being said, how do you know you're not a 4?
Um, hmm. I guess a 4 would mean that I was leaning more towards like not having the conversation. Like I felt more uncomfortable than I feel looking
Hmm.
ahead.
Okay, so that's a good thing.
Mhm.
Where do you want to be with this?
I'd be happy. Like, I think that even if I have the conversation and it doesn't go well and they say no, like it would still raise me up to a 7 or an 8, and I'd be satisfied with that.
Okay, so that actually answers the next question. What would be different if you were a level higher? So if you were a 6 or a 7. So when you are at a 6, what will you be doing that you're not doing now? Or I guess in your situation, what will you have done that you haven't done yet?
Well, I think to get to a 6, I just like in the next few weeks, I want to make it more like be more consistently communicative about other
Mhm.
things so that it's not like coming out of left field. So like to get me like a step closer.
Mhm. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, Janelle, if you'd like to continue.
What are you already doing that is on track?
Yeah, so the times that I am communicating in the notebook, which is not enough, but it's sometimes, I attended like her annual meeting, so I got to see the mom face to face virtually, but there's like an established relationship, at least with one of the moms. The other mom is not really involved with services or anything. So I think that's on track. And then just generally, like my best interests are with this girl who am concerned about. So that's like the main positive that I'm doing is trying to build a relationship with her.
How are you being trauma informed?
Well, I think this whole case like centers around the potential for trauma and also like the trauma inherent in adoption and, not being with your biological mother and just all the complications that come with that and trying to support attachment and relationship as, you grow up.
Um, I think you pretty much covered it, but can you think of anything else that you're on track with?
Um, I don't know. I guess like in the relationship in general, it's been a learning experience. I've had to get out of my comfort zone. I kind of like I don't know. I think it's pushing me, so I'm on track in general with just like definitely being sillier and I don't know, getting pushed out of my comfort zone a little bit with her.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, if you want to continue.
I'm not sure. And so, Joanna, you just mentioned what's going well for you, and so I'm curious, what is working well for the client right now? Like, what is this 3-year-old doing that's working well?
She functions really well in school. She has big emotions at home, but throughout the years, she's learned how to like better identify emotions and label them. And she's really surprisingly into like puppets. So she'll talk to puppets more than she'll talk to me. So that's been like new for me. I've never really done that before. Uh, so like she's opening up a little bit and more comfortable with sharing with puppets.
Awesome.
Weird
Very
thing to
cool.
say. Yeah.
And what about perhaps sort of the client's family system? What are they doing that's tracking right now?
I mean, I think, I think like that she loves Ma Mama very much, and she talks about her other siblings, and seem to spend a lot of time together and play together. So there's something positive going on for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Jackie, if you want to bring us home here.
Oh, okay. Joanna, what is the next small step for you?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to like I'll see her tomorrow. I'm gonna make sure to write like an extensive note in her notebook and
Hmm.
then maybe indicate that I'll talk to mom after, I don't know, we're having spring break here next week. So
Hmm.
and so to plan my next kind of phone conversation with mom in the book. Ooh.
Okay, you
Yeah.
got this. And all right, and how will that be helpful then as far as moving forward?
I will just have a plan of action on how to proceed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll have
sounds
to
good.
kind of commit to it, at least to having like another conversation with her.
Right, once it's in the notebook, right?
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for sharing all that. It sounds very like a complicated case, and you're really stepping out of your box.
Mhm.
Now we're going to ask Joanna to blank out her camera,
Okay.
and we're going to go into the wonderment phase. The rest of us can kind of discuss what's going on. Um, yeah, a lot of thoughts on this case. Would anyone care to start us off for Joanna?
I can go first. So I wrote down two things. I wonder what, I guess, model, if you will, the family has used for the older siblings. And, was that successful? How are the older siblings doing now if they know that they're adopted? And then I wonder if there's any like research or resources on like the effects of being brought up knowing you're adopted, or the effects of finding out later on in life, that might be useful just to have some basic like facts and data on it might be helpful.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Hmm.
Joanna, I had two things also, and they were the same ones. I was wondering, Janelle, sorry, I was wondering if they told the other siblings that they were adopted, yet. Do they even know? And also, I mean, there is obviously so much research. We know what the research says, but is there anything, that they can share with mom to, sort of prove, not prove, but really just to validate that, hey, this is the right thing to do? So I absolutely agree with you.
I am wondering specifically about Joanna. I'm wondering what I guess what the concern or what the fear is about that conversation. Um, when I read it, it sounds like maybe she's concerned that it's going to come off wrong, but I wonder where that's coming from because I consider Joanna a very like calm, even-keeled person, you know. I can't imagine that conversation being skewed at all. And so it sounds like she has all of the positives of it and she knows what she wants to do and she's able to justify it. I'm just curious what gets in the way there. But yeah.
No, agreed. That makes sense. And I was wondering too if there's something else in the like why they haven't, if they have told the other children, why they haven't told this one yet. Or do they tell everyone when they're four? Yeah, that would be something. But I agree, Ryan. Yeah, she's got all the tools, and it seems like yeah, and the 3-year-old seems like she's on top of everything else. So yeah, um, yeah, and I think it's a little complicated. Also, adding in her supervisor, who has experience with adoption. So maybe Joanna's feeling pressure in that direction too, from both sides rather than just the client themselves. Mhm. Yeah, that sounds good. Anything else anybody'd like to add to that? Pretty good. All right, and we'll bring Joanna back for compliments. Okay, Joanna, you can come on back. Hello. Um, and here we'd just like to tell you what a good job you're doing. Uh, if anyone would like to go first, go right ahead, chime in, and we'll go from there.
Joanna, you are looking at this, I think, from so many different levels, like as far as how is this going to affect the 3-year-old? How is mom going to react? What's going on with the older siblings? You're wondering about your supervisor. I just think you're looking at it from so many directions. And I mean, you obviously have skills and you know exactly what needs to be done, I think. And you can tell it's coming from your heart. So good for you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Um, I think that it's awesome that you want to challenge yourself to have this difficult conversation with them, even though, it might be, anxiety producing thinking about having it, but I think it's really great that you want to like step out of your comfort zone, and do it to learn from it and grow from it.
Thank you. Also, my supervisor told me I had to. I guess I should have said that.
I think we were picking that up, but we weren't sure.
Okay.
Feel like. So yeah, that's why it seems like you're really having more anxiety about it than it's maybe necessary. But yeah, but Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, my compliment kind of aligns with that. I admire your ability to remain patient-centered, even in situations where you may not have all of the details. I think it's awesome that you're putting as much thought and concern as you possibly can, because I know people that don't do that, and so it's refreshing to hear that you actually that you give a shit, essentially.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So bring it up here, the last part of everything is our debriefing. We'll start off with our presenter, Joanna. How was this for you, this experience tonight?
It was good. I don't know, I guess I didn't expect it to be helpful just because I've been kind of frustrated with how like the process is from the other roles, but it actually was very helpful to kind of figure out. Like, because you can cycle through things so anxiously and not really come up with a solution, but when other people are watching you, like it feels much more like we're sort of having a conversation, even if it's just me.
It's interesting how that was.
Yeah, it is.
I was feeling the same thing. Good for you. It is.
Yeah.
And like you've been ruminating it over it for quite a while, so it's nice
Yes.
to have other people hear you ruminate about it.
Yeah.
All right, Jackie, how was this for you this evening?
I think it went very well. I feel like, looking at the whole group process, I think we've evolved. I mean, you like stellar with the facilitating and the presenting. I mean, it's just flowing so much better than it did initially. So I think it was really good. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Janelle, how was it for you this time?
Sure. So a little different for me. I had a hard time sticking to not the script, but like just, the asking the questions on track because I have personal experience with this. So my inclination was to, talk about my experiences with it, but that's not like the point of this process. So, um, I I struggled with that piece, but I think it went well.
Well, I have to give you points I didn't pick up on that. I don't know if anybody else did, because I was wondering if I don't have any experience with that, and I don't know if anybody else did. And I was waiting for that to come up, but you handled it very well and you still stayed focused on Joanna. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Ryan, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's good. Always good hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm a little groggy this morning, so it was a little difficult for me to get in the rhythm, but kind of similar to Janelle. I was drawing some parallels from my own experience listening to Joanna speak. So, if nothing else, it was helpful for me to sort of think about some of my own cases and how I might go forward with that. So, yeah, always good.
Wonderful. I think we're getting the hang of it. And we probably only have one more, so we'll have it perfect by that one.
Mhm.
Um, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.